Hello again, everybody. We are back. I am AltJake. You're listening to AltJake Takes On, episode number 34. I'm here with my buddy George, as always. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing good. Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I am good. We're into the point now where Phoenix can start bragging about the weather. We're gonna be like nowhere above 80 degrees and nowhere below like 40 degrees for the lows through pretty much until April. So I'm enjoying my life. Yeah, that's why we live here. it was a rough summer, but we're back to normal here. So.
Understandable.
Right? But I'm good. Ready to...
Hey, before we get into wrestling, can we venture off for a second, if you don't mind?
Always. Tangents are what we're all about around here.
So I didn't mention it yesterday because we were doing the AEW Dynamite review, which, by the way, is every Thursday on YouTube Live. Cheap plug. I'll take it.
8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Bingo. Thank you. I swear to God, I didn't realize we were living in the 1980s again. Because yesterday the NBA betting scandal broke, and I couldn't believe that I saw the word mafia families are involved. 5 mafia families in the New York area. Huh?
I said the 5 families. Yeah.
I just, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? And then then today they were breaking out the complexity of this thing. They had radar machines underneath the card table reading the cards.
It was
glasses, contact lenses.
It was like a spy movie, but So what's funny is, and I will only tie it back to wrestling for a second, just because how I found out about this was when I woke up, because again, I'm on the West Coast, so I wake up a little bit later, and obviously the story had well broken, and I'm going through my Twitter notifications, and I only have a few, probably like 6-7 accounts that I've set to like notifications because they're either funny or they break you stuff or whatever. But there's an account called WWE_creative-ish, and it's Robert Karpolis, who used to be a part of WWE creative from I think like 2008 to 11 or whatever, so he knows about it. But he made a joke in comparison to like wrestlers getting in trouble. And he's like, but with this NBA news that's broke today, and I forget the joke that he made, but I may be like, what NBA news? And then go to the rest of my notifications and start going in and spend like an hour, maybe more, on my phone just reading more about like what was it? Chauncey Billups was involved.
Yeah, he's an actual active coach,
right? And former player,
not anymore, but.
Right. He was an active.
So the way this worked is there's 2 different sections of this. Chauncey Billups was the dude that would get suckers to come to these high stakes poker games that were fixed. And they'd bring these wealthy suckers in and strip them down to $0 by the time they left. That's going on. The second part of this was the player, which I can't remember his name now because I've just lost my thought. They showed films of the games where he was just turning the ball over, and then he would leave the game. He told the people he was leaving the game in like the third quarter with an ankle injury, and sure enough, he left the game in the third quarter with an ankle strain. And then insiders were finding out if LeBron's injuries was real or not. One thing about the NBA is they keep their status, if they're playing or not, secretive a lot.
Right.
More than the NFL guys do.
Right. And hockey's a similar way. No, I know that.
But
they say it's
NBA doesn't have to list them like the NHL and the NFL do. NFL and NHL especially, they're so vague. Like, if my knee hurts, it's a lower body injury.
Right.
They don't have to be specific. In football, they kind of got to be a little more specific. And NBA, they just whatever. It's amazing. And so this guy was fixing games, and you can see it.
Was it Terry Rozier? Is that the
Terry
one?
Rozier? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. No, I was trying.
He's an active player. He's an active player.
Was an active.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
Both these dudes, Rozier and Billups, Rozier more by about 20 million, but they've all made over $100 million in their career so far. Each these 2 guys each.
Yeah, no.
So money's not the issue. It's just the gambling addiction and stuff that is a real thing, which it obviously is.
Like,
the only problem,
the
please,
addiction of getting a rush.
have to call.
Yeah. They're like trying to get a rush from some of these moments. Because like what was it? Like Kevin Garnett was involved too. Because what was they called it? Like
I didn't hear his name. They got 32 names. I didn't really go into the names because I don't want to get heartbroken.
I'm just looking. I just typed it into the general feed. Yeah, Kevin Garnett was reportedly among the former pro athletes who was
awesome
under the DOJ's Operation Royal Flush per Pablo Torre is what I'm seeing on X.
Yeah, Pablo's a good reporter.
Right, I was gonna say that's a name I know. Like, you know what I mean? Like what's also crazy is when I looked this up and started like going through my Twitter feed, I saw that thing, like it was that story breaking, and I saw a picture of Chauncey Billups on the sidelines. The very next post was a DraftKings post or a DraftKings ad.
ESPN,
like it was just one of those things of like
ESPN was doing the story this morning, or I think maybe last night. I don't remember which one I watched. They were doing the story while their betting lines were scrolling on the bottom, and they had to take them down.
Right, like everything brought to you by DraftKings, brought to you by, I forget some of the other ones, was it like Bet365 and everybody else? This sports betting is something that is just, and then you got this was obviously a poker ring with it, but
to prove how much sports betting has changed. When I was betting pro football, you used to get a card, a white card, and you pick your teams. And you go down to the local store and see your guy. That's how you bet on games. It wasn't legal. These cards weren't legal. We had cards all over. It's not legal at all.
Right. No, it was, with bookies. Yeah, you had the bookies.
I didn't want to mention the word.
No, well, I'm just saying, like, that's what those were, they were called. I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm just saying those were, because you would hear about those type of things or types of, like, and or, having a line in with Vegas or whatever with it. But it was always some sort of,
that was the only place, Vegas.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, they couldn't in Atlantic City even too. It was just Vegas. That makes sense though because of how close. I'm just looking at, and then you've got the videos like of Rozier playing and like clearly just giving the ball.
Yeah, he gives the ball up. Misses 3-point shots by a mile.
Right.
Even I could hit the rim sometimes. Jeez.
Right. It's one thing to miss, but to not even come close with it. And then like obviously. With the NBA, people travel, so he's played for multiple teams, and you wonder, like, oh god. And obviously, like, this is just this is the beginning of it.
So that's the beginning, dude. There's people out there, and I'm not one of them, but I could be convinced. There are people out there that think all sports are rigged. This helps their conversation.
Right. But there's the difference. Okay, so there's the difference of it. Like, this is like a rigged from the play, like. People are thinking like the NFL's got like a script and there's rigged from like,
if you're
on down. That's a little different.
If the football game is a spread of 3.5 and you're the field goal kicker, and you
I get you.
See, that's
right now. That's
start talking about.
And there's a different level of it because there's some people who think it's rigged in the gambling side, but there's people who are like convinced that sports are like rigged as a show put on by the league, you know what I mean? Like that's what the athletes are doing, which exactly that's not true. I can believe. What was it? Tim Donaghy, the NBA ref, that clearly or not clearly he admitted to and went to jail for. There's a there's a great ESPN 30 for 30 about it. And what's funny is, so one of the reasons I'm not as much of an NBA fan as I used to be. Well, first off, I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s when it was like a contact sport. When you could actually like play defense and. They need to tone it down a bit, but where it's gone to now, like it's not the same sport. But also, too, I grew up in Phoenix. I was a Suns fan, and like there were some of those games that were very shittily officiated that took the Suns down against the Spurs, and then also the whole thing where Robert Horry, cross-checked Steve Nash into the scorer's table. And players go up to look for him, don't go onto the court, but because their feet crossed the line, Boris Diaw and Amari Stoudemire got suspended for the next game, and the Suns lost. And is what it is. I thought that was rigged from David Stern because he was trying to give the Spurs a dynasty. But the NBA has had a history of this. There was, like you said, we went back to the 80s. There was betting scandals, and then let alone what's happened in college too with point shaving.
I was just surprised to hear the word mafia.
Yeah, no. Yeah, like
that came out. You've heard me often say when somebody mentions mafia, I go, mafia doesn't exist.
Right. No, yeah, it's a Hollywood invention. There's no Gambino family. Literally, I'm looking up. That's the first name that you see. The Bonanno and Gambino families. Like, oh, Jesus.
I can see where people, if LeBron James is hurt. Okay. Now this is an example I heard today, and it's not an example. It's just true. Insiders found out that LeBron was going to play. However, on the game report, he wasn't listed as going to play. He was questionable.
Right.
But these guys knew he was playing anyway. So you can get the bet in early knowing he's going to.
Right.
This is just a tip of the iceberg. You'll see as it comes out, it's going to be a cluster F.
Right. That's the thing. There's so much there's so much more that's going to come out of this. And for this to be the first shoe to drop, and 30 NBA or 30, was it current or former NBA players were arrested from this? And then with how much is going to come through, with La Cosa Nostra and the RICO cases that can come out of this is going to be a long story. When did this drop? Yesterday?
Yeah.
October 23rd, 2025. This is going to take years to resolve.
How elaborate that game card, card playing thing is amazing to me.
Yeah.
They had a breakdown of it on TV, and I was like, I just was in awe. I'm like, okay, you can wear glasses. And then they showed the view through the glasses on the camera, how the cards were marked. And then they had the machine, the x-ray machine, and you could wear contact lenses. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, the whole thing's crazy. And the fact they can do all of these type of things, and then sometimes you hear of certain law enforcement, there were things just get completely botched. You're like, because it's a crazy, amazing scheme. How long were they working on this too? I've seen different reports on that too, of how long this
to break what they broke so quickly. They've been working on it for a while.
Right, a long time. That's years, I feel or at least a lot of months on this. It's a crazy story.
You don't get all that. You don't get all that specific information that quick ever.
Right. And let's be real, whoever these people are, they were, former NBA players or whatever they are, just saying these people are millionaires. So they've got lots of money and able to hire the best possible lawyers. And they all got arrested and it got reported. And there was, you know what I mean? So there's clearly hard evidence, as we know of. It's just
when they show Rozier tanking the game like they showed. I mean, you could see. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure that one out.
Right, but there's one thing of having a bad day, and there's nothing of rolling the ball to another person.
The announcer, but they're showing the film of the game. The announcer says, "Well, Rozier's having a bad day."
Right? Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm looking at it on X. I pulled up on the screen, but I don't want to get. We don't have the express written consent of the NBA at this point. So it's crazy story. And like you said, there are some smaller names, but there's big names involved.
Like I said, I saw it yesterday, but we're concentrating on what we're doing at the time. Yeah. But I'm sorry, folks, you had to listen to that for the first 10 minutes.
It was fun. I feel like our opening kind of just banter is fun. People, we get a good response from it, and I enjoy, like I said, it's one of our things. Like you said, you want to go off a tangent. I'm like, awesome. That's one of the reasons why we do the show the way we do it, where if we we're going to review Raw, but if it's going to send us on tangents to bring up old history or other things. It's not just
especially as an older member of the crew here, having just been through all this, with football betting being under the table, and you had to go down to the store and see your bookie and see a middleman, and hopefully you paid your, if you bet your money. I used to be able to bet without giving money first because I was a friend of my best buddy was the right-hand man, so to speak. So I didn't have to.
They weren't going to break your legs.
No, if I didn't pay, they
right.
I was. He told me to. I'll just say it. He told me the one time. He goes, "Listen, you don't have to pay me up front because they know you're my buddy, but if you lose, you better pay me within 24 or I'm going to have to hurt you." And I'm like, dude, you're like, I love you. You're like a brother, but I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, so for me, it was funny is there's people that would consider me to be older in the community of it, with where the community is now and how the much more young people are involved. But for me, the initial, the first thing I can remember about sports betting at all, Pete Rose. That's what I remember as a kid, because Pete Rose is what, 89, 90, 88, 89, somewhere in that realm of it.
He died.
He just recently died. Yeah, but I'm talking like
Yeah.
his story. Yeah. I think he passed away this year or late last year, some point like that. But that scandal of him being a manager and all of that, like I remember when that breaking and like my parents explaining to me what sports gambling was and why he was in trouble and why, like, my stepdad is one of the biggest, like, he's from the Cincinnati area, so he's a big giant Reds fan and always was a huge Pete Rose fan, and why he was no longer, because
this is nothing
stuff.
This event now is nothing compared, or is everything twice 15 times. Pete Rose is I'll try it again. Pete Rose's scandal is nothing compared to this.
Right, exactly.
Pete never bet on his team.
Yeah, at least they could prove, yeah.
No, everyone admits that. FBI, Pete Rose, everyone always says the same thing. He might have been a dirtbag, but everybody never bet on his team to win or lose.
Which, I mean, that would have been like, that's the worst of it that you can do, is especially the betting and the tanking. I mean, again, as I've got look to my screen to the left, and I see Terry Rocher is just rolling the ball over and making clear passes to, like, I am passing the ball to you in the different jerseys, so you could be wide open for three. Yeah, no.
So the gambling thing's a real deal. If you do have a gambling addiction, call 1-800-522 call 1-800-522-4700 gambling addiction hotline 24/7. There you go.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. Seriously, like, it's one of those things that there is avenues for help, and I feel like it's one of those situations that people would be hard pressed. I feel like that would be something that people would internalize more these days, because you see so much of it. And look, I wasn't going to mention this part of it, but I will. Fuck it. My grandparents were both pretty degenerate gamblers at certain points in their lives, and gamblers will always tell you about the wins and to celebrate it and how great things are, but they never tell you about the losses. And I feel like if you're in that type of struggle, you're going to see the commercials on TV or the internet, YouTube, whatever.
It's all on your phone, dude.
Yeah,
and people always talking super about convenient now.
Yeah, and all your friends or whomever are talking about, oh, I won this, I won that, I won this, I won that. They're losing just as much, if not more. There's a reason why all these sites have all these commercials and can give you $200 of bet play with your $5 bet, and actually of that you can never
Las
take
Vegas
out.
Wasn't built on winners, people. Las Vegas was built on losers.
A 24-hour town with that much lights, and again, the excess doesn't exist because of that's why I only ever played certain games when I was in Vegas that I liked, because they were better chances. And what's funny is the game I like the most is pretty much down to like only in 5 casinos on the strip, or 5 on the strip and like 4 in downtown, and at one table each, because they realized it's not best for them. And that's the game I liked, because it was the chance of winning. Because it used to be a 6-hour drive. They've shortened it down to about a 4-hour drive from Phoenix to Vegas, or it's a 45-minute flight. I turned 21 in Las Vegas. I enjoy gambling, but I've always left it to, I will only do that in Vegas. And I don't gamble. I've never bet on sports in my life. Like, aside from, like, I used to do a football pool or just like a pick'em pool for fun. But yeah, the whole parlays thing, like, it's not something I want to be involved in and get a part of.
Just
like, it's not for
me. I gave that number earlier. Just if you have a problem, call that number. Just be careful, because
I'll put it in then.
It's on your phone. And it's super convenient, and information's already there. It's super easy to get sucked in quick.
Yeah, I'll put that phone number. I'll put that number in the description of the video and the clip itself too. So if you are listening and do need help, please call the number, reach out. There are people that will help you. You're as embarrassing as it can be, and people have been in those situations. I've been in certain ones myself at different times in my 43 years. You will not be as embarrassed if you don't. You'll be more embarrassed if you don't reach out. I promise. In the long run.